Previously on the Frontier Farmer.
And it's all quiet because there's no work going on. Despite all the somber feelings of late, our soybeans are ready to harvest. It's completely smashed this front corner in. Can't remember who owns this house and which fence it is, but we did say that we would come and repair it for them. Fire up the Neva. So let's get started and get these soybeans all harvested. And that is the final harvest of this season and this year. 8,294. Not too bad at all. So we'll give that a nice oiling up. There we go. Weeds gone and stalks are nicely mulched up. But I've got 4 fields to do. Field 3, 4, Burfield and Stone End Field. Drop off some TMR. Nicely mixed. I'm going to take these horses for a nice little ride in honour of Tim. We might have to see about setting on some winter projects. I'm thinking creating some more productions and getting some stuff sold. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Frontier Farmer at the Dark Forest. It's now November, and I've started off this morning by putting up our settlement signpost, which has its wonderful name Lake Point on it. Well overdue job that I finally got around to. But I better get back to the homestead because we have quite a few jobs to do today, and quite a few of them are to do with our production area. We've had the productions working for a couple of months now, so we have some items to sell that have been produced from them. Over the long bridge back to the homestead. And there is one production that I would like to add to our zone today, and that is a dairy, so we can finally make use of all the cow's milk we are producing. Now, before I go to park up, I did want to come around here because I spoke to Derek at the sawmill at the production area, and he told me that Thomas had come over here to work. Aha, here we go. So, it's Thomas, I believe. Welcome. Thanks for offering your services to come and work at the sawmill at the homestead. Obviously, we do sadly miss Tim, but we need to keep the sawmill operational, and you are the man for the job, apparently, so good luck, and give us a shout if there's anything you need. Smashing stuff. Well, yep, sadly, Tim is not around anymore to work at the sawmill, but Thomas, I'm sure, will do a fantastic job, and it's nice to hear the sawmill back in operation. But we'll get the AMT parked up, and then I think we're going to jump in a truck, because the plan is I'm hoping to pinch some trailers. Start her up and pinch some trailers, you may ask. Well, that is because I have yet again not heard anything from the Forestry Commission since the events of September, and my theory is I think they have completely scarpered from the Dark Forest. They cannot be contacted and they are nowhere to be seen, and if you recall, they have a few bits of equipment over at the old sawmill, which was actually Tim's sawmill, so perhaps that's got something to do with it. Maybe Tim didn't quite like the Forestry Commission setting up their depot at his old sawmill and he scared them off. But yep, that means there's potentially some equipment there for us to utilise, and I'm thinking of taking one of the trailers meandering through the forest at quite a pace in this fantastic Iveco until we reach the old sawmill clearing. And here is the depot. As mentioned, some equipment scattered and left by the Forestry Commission, but I'm just going to go knock on the door and see if there is anyone. Hello? Anyone in? There's no one in, but there's this abandoned sign on the door. And those bloodstains? How peculiar. Well, I think that settles it. The Forestry Commission have definitely scarpered away from here and not bothered to collect their equipment. So I guess this is at our disposal to use unless they venture back into the dark forest at some point. So we have the wood crane, which we used beforehand, the wood chipper, the bus, which might be handy over by the settlement, to be honest, if it's going to grow and we need to shuttle some people to work. But really what I'm interested in over here is this flatbed trailer to load some of our produce onto. So I'll hop in this Case IH truck, get it fired up, a little bit of a cold start as it's not been used. But what we'll do is we'll unhitch that flatbed trailer, and actually I think what we might do is unhitch the front trailer and take both of them back, because if the Forestry Commission aren't going to be using these, then they could be useful in the new production zone. The wood trailer would probably help Derek out loading wood into the productions, so why not? Park that there, and we'll use our own Iveco to take the trailers back. I'm not going to be pinching the trucks because that's probably a step too far. There we go, we'll latch on so we have both trailers. And it makes sense for us to use this, as otherwise it's just going to sit here and rot. But yep, if the Forestry Commission come back and of course want their equipment back, we will return it of course. But let's head on back, and I've got to swing by the distribution centre because there's a pallet fork that we are going to need for our telehandler. Here we are, made it to the distribution centre, and despite our homestead and settlement and production zone expansion, the Dark Forest is still very desolate. It does go on for a long time before you come across anything. Right, here is the pallet fork, so I'm going to get that loaded on the flatbed. Bit heavy, but we managed it. Strap it down. And we'll head on back to the production area. And as mentioned, the flatbed is going to be very useful for loading some of the bulkier goods from our new production zone. Hang a right turn to the settlement. Another branch off to the right to the production zone. And here we are. So I'm thinking the log trailer can go somewhere near our wood storage and sawmill, because that makes the most sense. So wood trailer and dolly can go there. See Derek busy working away at the new sawmill. But we can fetch the flatbed trailer and get that somewhere in position for us to get loading our goods. And I'll have to run back to the homestead and get the telehandler. In the telehandler, and we can get the beacon on and drop off the bale fork probably in the shed, because we're not going to be needing that. And we can go and fetch the pallet fork that is on the trailer. Drop that off. Now of course the pickup is still in the shop, or our own garage really, because the front end is still dented in from the tree we crashed into, and haven't been able to order any parts just yet to replace some of the damage, but I'm sure we will get round to it at some stage. We can head on over the bridge, get our pallet fork, and it's going to be a bit of a busy loading session. And once we've got it all loaded, we'll take it over to the distribution centre to get shipped back to the main city, and should get some tidy profits from it, I'm hoping. Bit bumpy this bridge, very wobbly. We might have to see about smoothing it over into the production zone, and we will have to come up with a better name for this area. If you've got any suggestions, let me know, but Yeah, I think we need to come up with a fitting name for our production area. Something work or industry orientated would suffice. Right, let's get the pallet fork and then we can take a quick look at what we've got from each production. It's quite exciting because this is some new produce that is being made on the Dark Forest, and I'm hoping it's going to be quite lucrative. All of the productions are wearing away, and I think it's Carl that works at the paper mill, but can't see him about anywhere. But I did instruct everyone to get all of their goods outside so I could easily load them. Aha! And here we go. We have our pallet of carton roll. This is very big. I wonder if it's going to be loadable with the telehandler. And this is the paper roll. And both of them look to be 2,800 litres, so very big pallets. Over to the wood turner, and it's Joseph, I believe. And look what we have here. We have some boxes of bowls. Very interesting. I think these are the pepper grinders. Yep, that's right. We've got 4 boxes of each, or 4 pallets of each. And then another 4 pallets of staircase railings. Very nice. Great work, mate. Blimey, Cassandra, you've been working hard doing the dog houses. And I think these are the cat trees. They look a bit funky, but I'm sure they make sense once assembled. And these must be the bird houses. Fantastic. And Derek's been busy at the sawmill, and looks like we have our first pallet of furniture. It's all flat packed, so that's quite interesting. You'd have to construct it with all the screws and bits and bobs that come with it. Very nice. Right, pop in the telehandler, and we better get to loading. I think I'm going to start with some of the heavier stuff, the carton and paper roll, and move on to the smaller items. Hopefully we have enough space, but if not, we can do 2 trips. But leave all the loading to me, and I'll see you when we're finished. There we go. A very tidy sum of 87,000. And I still have a pallet of staircase railings, which is upturned. So we will just get that tipped over and we can sell it. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Another 1,900. So yeah, just shy of 90,000 from all of that. And it's time for round 2. I expect we'll get a little bit less because we've just got the pet accessories remaining. And oh, of course, can't forget the 1 pallet of flat pack furniture that Derek has prepared for us. But nonetheless, I think that's a pretty good haul for 1 day's work and a couple of months worth of productions from our fantastic wood orientated industry. So yeah, paper, carton, we had bowls, pepper grinders and staircase railings. And now it's onto the dog houses, the cat trees and the bird houses and the flat pack furniture. So it'll be interesting to see how much that raises us. And the telehandler did a good job. It was a little bit fiddly because of where I was parked, so I just need to make sure I leave myself enough space to load. And it should be easier this time round because I can just do 2 pallets at a time and stack them sideways, and that should probably fill the trailer or thereabouts. But yep, thanks for all your hard work, Joseph and Carl. Some great produce there. And I think the plan is after we've sold it this one time that we're probably going to hand the equipment over to the use of the workers in this area so they can load it up themselves, and probably arrange a delivery driver to take regular drops to the distribution centre to ship all the produce and goods to the city. Right, let's get the dog houses first, shall we? And it's always a bit of a fun and games just lining up, but there we go. More so lining up with the floor than anything else, because we don't want the pallet fork to go under the pallets and we don't want them to go above either, so a bit of a balancing game. But I think I've got potentially 2 pallets there we go. 2,000 litres of dog houses. If litres is a suitable unit of measurement for dog houses, I don't know. Let's just call it 2 dog houses. Superb. Right, we're going to get the second part of this loaded on and taken to ship and sell, just like before. So I'll see you when we've got that all sorted. Another 65,709. Fantastic. So we've got the balance back up to 300,000, which is pretty bumper. And if we look at what everything's sold for, the paper roll sold for 5,893 per pallet. The carton roll $5,026 per pallet. The bowls were 3,063. Pepper grinders 2,092. Staircase railings 1,977. Dog houses 4,390 each. Cat trees $5,792 each. And finally bird houses at $2,692 per pallet. So pretty good haul. Right, we best head on back. And I think we can leave the flatbed down the back of the productions, as leaves a nice bit of parking space here. And as mentioned, I would like to place a dairy, so I'm going to go ahead and get that sorted out now. I think it's going to go right here. And here it is. The dairy. It's quite a sizable building, but it is in here now and lines up quite nicely with the rest of our row of productions. Seems to have a big tank here, which I suspect is for storing the milk, and a couple of milk churns and a few bits out and around. But yes, here it is, the dairy. And of course we'll have to get one of our workers to come and work here, but we can at least load it up. So we need the milk tanker, and I'm going to hop in the Iveco. We'll journey back to the homestead, switch over to the IFA truck, as that's a bit more suited for the smaller milk trailer, and then we can set about getting the milk into the dairy. Oh dear, the forecasted rain has started. That is rather annoying. Thomas has just given me a shout, and yep, he's told me that the wood chips are piled too high and he's had to stop work because he's got no more space for wood chips. So we better solve that problem before we do anything else. So let's switch to the IFA. Before we get the milk, we'll have to grab the other trailer, get it loaded up with wood chips and take them to sell. Just unloading the 7,000 litres of milk that we've collected from the cows, and that's going straight into the dairy. And we also loaded the wood chips, got them sold, and I think we just got shy of around $30,000 for those wood chips, so that's about 2/3 of the way paid for the dairy today, which is pretty good. Right, that's the milk loaded, so let's see if we can get the dairy up and running. Well, the rain has stopped, which is a blessing, and it turns out that Richard has come over to help run the dairy. Thanks, Richard. Really good to have you on board with the dairy. Let's see if we can get some stuff started in here, shall we? Fantastic. So we can start some butter production. That is going to turn 15 milk into 13 butter. That's pretty good. And looks like we can also make cheese, which is going to convert 3 milk into 2 cheese. We'll do both of those. Unfortunately, chocolate we need sugar to make, so we will have to see about sourcing some sugar, and I think that will be either well, it will be sugar beets, as I don't think we can grow sugar cane in this climate. But we might have to look at getting a small sugar refinery or factory that can convert sugar beets into sugar so we can make some chocolate. Nice one, Richard. We'll leave you to it and see how the milk gets on converting into butter and cheese. And we can head on back home. I've got a lot of respect for Richard after the events of September. And I think we'll leave the International Harvester tractor here for now. Come back and get it another day. But it's nice that the rain has subsided. It's left a nice afternoon hue in the horizon, which is very nice. But yeah, it's the time of year where it starts to get a little bit darker, so we'll be finishing early before it gets dark here. And we can have a nice cup of tea to end the day, I think. IFA parked away, and I do really enjoy using this truck. It's fantastic and goes well with the Iveco. One is for the heavy stuff and one is for the lighter stuff. Fantastic. Now the wheel loader is parked over here now. We will have to potentially see about getting a log fork, similar to this one for the wheel loader, but for the telehandler. So Derek has got one over in the production area. And potentially this wheel loader can be left here for Thomas to use. Yes, there he is, working busily in the sawmill. But another day down on the homestead, and I'm thinking we're going to have to get the open garden up and running again at some point to grow some more pig-orientated plants that we need to keep them well fed. But the question really is, what are we going to do over winter? Because we're going to have a probably blustery December and January on the homestead, but then sometimes the snow does strike us later in February or even March. I'm thinking that we are probably going to turn our attention to some more forestry work, but this time, rather than the production area or anywhere to do with the settlement, we are going to do some forestry around here. And I'm thinking and eyeing up a potential new area which could have a rather large field in. And I'm thinking about somewhere over yonder in the distance, separate to field number 3. But yes, a large field, our largest field yet. We have a number of fields now, and I think Stone End Field is our biggest. But we want to grow the homestead, keep on improving and growing and sustaining, and yeah, I think that will lead us on to some interesting purchases to help with the larger fields and all of the work that's involved. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. But for now, I think that's probably it for today. So, hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like me to do, then feel free to leave a comment. But all there's left to say is, I hope to see you again next time on the Frontier Farmer. And until then, I'll catch you later. Cheers all. Bye bye.